Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Home is Where the Dark Is. This is Alex Crescioni, and today is New Bass Day. This is the Stiletto 5 Stealth Pro by Schecter Guitar Research. This is a new bass I recently acquired that I will be using in a new project that I'll be announcing in the future. But I've always loved playing bass, been playing for quite a long time. I'm mainly a guitar player, but I've grown to love playing bass over time in the studio and on different records, and it's really fun to play live. So I do have an exciting new project I'll be announcing later this year. So if you're a fan of Schecter guitars, I highly encourage you to check out their website. They have a whole bunch of brand new, amazing models out that I think you'll really enjoy. In physics, there's something called the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. And it's the idea that as you reach for something, the farther away it becomes. And it's an interesting point of view. And I remember hearing it for the first time described as, and it's kind of a silly example, but it does make a lot of sense. And I'm sure a lot of you have struggled with this. But for example, say a coin falls into your couch cushion. It's kind of wedged in there, but you can kind of you see it like the very tip of it. So as you go to reach for it, the couch cushion separates and opens up and it falls deeper and deeper and deeper, and then it falls in more. And as you go to reach for it again, it falls in more, and then it's like all the way at the bottom, or it falls through the couch. Same thing like if you drop a coin in your car and it falls under your seat. As you're reaching for it, it's kind of pushing farther out of your grasp. And that's kind of an interesting way to think of success, especially any kind of long-term career. You know, there's a lot of life coaches and businessmen in certain industries that they say, like, you know, no, you need to go out and you need to make money today. It needs to happen today, today, today. And I think with certain lines of work, that makes sense. And I think you can apply that to music in a certain way as well. But I think for the most part, music is the long game. You're playing the long game. So in this episode, I wanted to kind of create a parallel between the Heisenberg uncertainty principle and success in the music industry. So this is entitled The Paradox of Success, What Heisenberg Can Teach Musicians. So what is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle? At its core, it says, the more precisely you know the position of a particle, the less precisely you can know its momentum, and vice versa. So let's think about that. The more you try to pin down where something is, the harder it is to know where it's going. And if you try to measure how fast it's moving or what direction it's headed, you lose clarity on where it actually is. It's a reality, it's built in. Its uncertainty isn't a glitch, it's a feature. Now, if you're not a physicist, that may sound abstract, but if you're a musician trying to make it, it's your life. If you're trying to make it today, maybe you're grinding out Spotify releases, mastering your social media strategy, timing your drops, reading the metrics, tweaking the algorithm. You might be feeling a bit like you're chasing particles, chasing virality, chasing numbers, always trying to capture a fleeting moment, hoping that this is the one that breaks through. But here's the paradox. The more you try to control your momentum, your career trajectory, the harder it becomes to stay grounded in your present position. You stop being a musician and you start becoming a strategist, a scheduler, a growth hacker, a personal brand manager, and slowly, almost without noticing, you drift away from the reason you started playing music in the first place. And on the flip side, if you become obsessed with where you are right now, I only have 1,000 followers, my sound isn't polished enough, I'm not where I should be, you freeze. You doubt every note, every decision. You lose momentum entirely. It's like trying to hold water in your hand. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. I also like to think of, it's the same thing when you go and you hold sand in your hand. It's like you go and you're at the beach, you grab a handful of sand and you hold it gently in your hand, and it stays there, and it maybe slowly drains and falls away over time. But if you grab it really fast, like you want it all now, it completely falls away. So what's the lesson? Heisenberg, through his insight, gives us something deeply human. You can't perfectly know both the where and the where to. And that's not a failure. That's not a shortcoming. That's art. That's creativity. That's life. You can't micromanage your way to greatness. You can't optimize your soul, and you certainly can't guarantee that the world will hear you just because you planned everything right. Some artists explode overnight from a grainy video posted in a moment of vulnerability. Others spend a decade refining their voice in the shadows before something clicks. And many, many more stay unseen, but not unworthy. This isn't a race, it's a resonance. You can't control both the quality and the quantity of attention. You can only show up and lean into the process and trust that motion matters. Think of your musical journey as improvisation. You don't know what the next chord will be. You're listening, you're reacting, you're adapting. If you freeze up, worried about hitting the perfect note, you lose the groove. But if you play, something magical happens. You flow. Improvisation is honest, it's imperfect, and it's alive, just like your path. I'm not saying don't plan or ignore your audience. We live in a world where visibility matters. That's the game, but don't let the game convince you it's the truth. Don't confuse clarity with control. Because the most meaningful things, your growth, your craft, your connection to your music, aren't always measurable in real time. You're not a particle in a lab. You're a waveform. You move, you resonate, you change shape. And if you try to freeze yourself in place for the sake of being successful, you might lose what makes your sound yours. So if you're out there chasing success and it feels like it's slipping through your fingers, step back and take a breath. Ask yourself, am I so focused on where I am that I've stopped moving? Am I obsessed over where I should be instead of showing up for where I am? What would happen if I let go of a little control and trusted the process? Because here's the deeper truth. Success is uncertain. Always has been. It's chaotic, it's quantum, it's wild. It doesn't follow formulas, and that's not a flaw. That's a freedom. Uncertainty doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're alive. It means you're in it. You are free to create, to pivot, to drop a weird song that makes no sense to anyone but you, to disappear for a season, to rest, and to reemerge with a sound no one saw coming, to start again.